This is the IT Director's Playbook, the podcast where we sit down with IT directors, ed tech leaders, and industry experts to tackle real-world tech challenges, honest conversations, expert insights, practical takeaways. Let's dive in. Chad Penson with Neshoba County Schools, Mississippi. IT director for how long at Neshoba?
Finishing up year 28.
28 years.
28 years total.
In technology.
This will be my completing fifth year at Neshoba, and did 23 years at Philadelphia.
That's great. Well, welcome to the podcast, Chad.
Thank you.
Tell me your story. How'd you get started?
I will have to go all the way back to my sophomore year of high school. Started my family early, got married really early. My junior year of high school, had my first son, Peyton, who is now 28 years old and doing very successful. He works for Maples Gas out of Meridian and is doing very well for himself. But started my family a little untraditional, a little early in high school, and was one of the first people in my high school that started their family early. And nobody really knew what to do with those kids when hey, this guy's fixing to have his own kid. What do we do with him? So I got stuck in VOTEC. Went out to this district here, went to the VOTEC here, and they put me in the computer class. I like gaming and like computers, and it just kind of all lined up. And I had a counselor at East Central, Miss Tammy Parks, who she will never know how much she did for me. But she introduced me to the superintendent of Philadelphia. Asked me did I want to meet with him one day, and I had no idea what was going on. I was junior in high school. Yeah. So I sat down with this guy. We talked about life. Didn't talk anything about computers. And the next thing I know, I'm working at Philadelphia Schools in the afternoon doing computer repair. So that's how I got my start. And 28 years later, here I am in the Neshoba County Schools, and it was quite the journey. But that's how I got where I'm at.
We're going to talk about the technology and tech director and all of that. But you were a junior and
right,
an expecting dad.
Yeah, what
was that like?
I have to say, at times it was very, very scary. It was very, very alone. Who wants to hang out with a guy that's got a kid? It wasn't all bad. I don't want to make it sound like that, but when Kelly and I, we had to kind of figure this thing out together. Mm. We come December, we'll be married 29 years. So the Lord blessed me greatly. I am where I'm at today because of His grace and mercy. It was tough trying to kind of figure out what the next step is. I guess that was because it was not a traditional graduate high school, go to college, get a job. We had to figure this thing out, and there was not a whole lot of examples to go by of, well, they're successful, let's follow what they did. But there were folks along the way that guided us and helped us out, and so it was good, but yeah, it was very tough at times. Just wanted to try to have the mentality and the mindset of, let's just do the right next thing, and it kind of all figured itself out. Like I said, 100% grace of God. He was with us. Looking back now, seeing the 16, 17-year-olds in the hallway terrifies me that I was that kid and had to figure life out. So it was not by my own doings by any means, but yeah.
Look at you now.
Well, I have a beautiful family, beautiful granddaughter, beautiful daughter-in-law, beautiful wife, two amazing sons. So yeah, I couldn't have painted any better than I think it's turned out.
You wouldn't have planned it that way, but
there's definitely an order for things that make things easier. But if you happen to get some things out of order, it's not the end of the world, So
was college ever a dream for you?
Yeah, I actually went to college full-time at night. Was kind of forced into going. The district I was working in said, hey, we want you to have a degree. If you want this job, I want you to have a degree. So I went full-time at night. When I graduated high school, I was, like I said, working at Philadelphia Schools and as a computer tech. And my wife went to college first. She graduated college, and then it was my turn. Great. So I worked in the day, and I went to college full-time at night. And that was when you could get your complete degree going to college at night. Yeah. So I was able to go at night and finish that up. And it was tough. For many, many years looking back, my wife and I were probably more roommates than we were husband and wife. But you do what you got to do.
Tell me more about how you got to be a tech director.
I'm a creature of habit. I was able to get the job at Philadelphia, and I just wanted to do the best I could. I stayed there, and I worked my way up. After, I want to say, 3 or 4 years, I was able to become the technology coordinator there, and was able to just continue to network and continue to try to hone my skills and craft and learn how to do things, self-taught on a lot of things. College is great. The real world, there are a lot of things that happen that are not in a textbook that happen at college. Definitely a needed necessity, college. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying you got to be willing to branch out, and there's a lot of things that don't show up in a textbook.
So you said you were at Philadelphia for
23 years.
23 years. What do you think was your secret to success over there? Because 23 years in one district is awesome.
You just show up every day and do whatever's expected. I mean, just do whatever's required, even more than is expected at times. That's a thing that I think maybe is missing a little bit this day and time. You just do more than required, and if it needs doing, even if it's a little outside of your area, you just do it.
Yeah.
You show up every day, you're consistent, you're available, and you never have to worry about, is my old black dirty Camry going to be in the parking lot? Yeah, it's going to be there, and I'm going to be doing whatever it takes to get the job done.
Yeah.
And yes, there's Google. Yes, there's other districts. Yes, there's other things, and I lean on those guys heavily. But at the end of the day, you sometimes you just have to figure it out, and you just keep trying until you do. And I'm hard-headed enough to do that.
Yeah.
And you stick around long enough, and you do those things, and you just tend to. I never set out to be a tech director. It just kind of happened.
Going back to being in high school, if you were like, "Hey, this is what I want," if somebody asked you, "What do you want to do in life?" What would you have said back then?
I absolutely had no idea.
Okay.
I played ball. I love playing baseball.
Yeah.
I wasn't very good. Had a lot of heart. Played a little basketball to stay in shape for baseball. Like I said, I knew that I knew deep down that was never really going to pay the bills, so to speak. But at 15 and 16, you think it might be a possibility.
Got a glimmer of hope in there for sure.
But I never really thought too far ahead.
Okay. Most, I think, 15, 16, 17-year-old boys, it's hard to see past Friday night.
Yeah, it is.
I think there's a few songs about that too, actually.
Yeah, probably so. If not, there needs to be a couple good hit songs come out of that.
So moving into Neshoba County Schools, what was that like?
I was sitting at Burger King with my brother-in-law 23 years in at Philadelphia, and I was honestly planning to get through 2 more years, retire, and just see what else is out there. And got a phone call, and hey, we're interested in talking to you about a position. And at first I was like, I appreciate the call, appreciate the offer. I'm humbled. You guys don't want me. I'm at the end of my career. I'm tired. I'm old. I need 2 years, and I'm going to put myself out to pasture. So I didn't entertain it too much. And then they kept on, and I finally I didn't want to burn any bridges. I was like, you know what? I'll come sit down and talk. Told my wife that the morning I come out here to talk with the show, I said, man, I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting their time. But I think I'm doing the right thing because I respect everybody at both locations. I want to do the right thing, so let's just go talk. And pulled up, and I opened my door, and the first step I took out, walking into this very building right here, like the Lord said, hey, this is where you're going to be. This is not, I don't want to do, this is way too big for me. I don't want to do this. But I kept hearing that this is it. Went into the meeting, and we talked, and they offered me a job, and I obviously said, I said all the things. I've got to talk to my wife, got to pray about it, got to think, I truly did want to do those things. And just got a piece that this was the Lord's will for my life. And I'll be honest with you, for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was right where I needed to be. Stepped in and had several projects that we needed to do and several things we needed to do. And it has been full steam ahead. And look back, and honestly, preparing for this, I was trying to think, well, how long have I been there? And could not believe it's coming up on end of year 5. And still feeling out. And I told when contracts come out this year, I talked to my superintendent. I said, hey, as long as you feel like I'm being effective and doing what I need to do for the district or whatever, hey, I love what I'm doing. I want to keep doing it. And I honestly right now, I can't tell you what the exit looks like because we got a lot I want to do.
That's exciting.
How many schools are in Neshoba County?
We have one school. Pre-K through 12th grade is all on this one campus. Mm-hmm. So, and we have, I believe, the largest flat campus in the state and the largest elementary school in the state as well, all on one campus.
It took me past, and I ended up almost circling the campus, and I couldn't believe how how big? I knew Neshoba was big, but
Right.
I didn't know it was this big.
Yeah, we're a 6A school, and if you go from one end of the campus all the way to the other, it's a mile. So,
I hope you got a good golf cart to get around.
we're working on that. We have
Putting that in the budget.
We have a shared golf cart right now.
There you go.
We're working on some different transportation options for next year. Obviously, I need to walk from A to B as much as possible, and we try to do that. But it is a large campus, so
Sometimes you got to get somewhere quickly.
absolutely.
A golf cart would be nice.
I feel like you're saying I'm slow.
No, I'm just saying I'm advocating for you to get a golf cart. My neighbor has his now second golf cart.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty awesome.
Well, I'll be honest with you. We were approved last year to get a golf cart.
Yeah.
I spend the district's money more stingy than I spend my own. And if you ask my wife, she'll tell you I probably have every dollar I've ever made, which is not the case. But, I just try to be financially responsible as much as possible. So,
That's fair. Good for you. It's not always the case, but
hey, sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes I wish it was a little easier just to say, let's buy this, let's buy that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
personally and professionally.
You had to have made a lot of changes in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Tell me about
Okay. When I showed up,
what was technology like when you started compared to
the best
what
I
it is
can
now?
remember, we had one computer lab, a gateway computer lab with like 24 computers. The central office had computers. They were old Tandy 486s, and maybe a couple classrooms had computers, but they were probably less than 50 computers in the whole district.
wow.
There was a cable job that was being. They used to have years ago, and I shouldn't even bring this up because I don't know enough about it to really talk about it, but there used to be a day where the community could come in and help cable buildings or pull this and that. And you got to realize we didn't have Google, this was early stages of computer networking. So I couldn't dream of doing that now, but they would have people from the community that could come in and help pull cable and wires and things. And some of the cable was there, some of it was terminated, some of it was not. So I was able to see most of all of the cable that's been pulled in the building, kind of know how everything connects. We were able to split floors and have different IDF comm rooms on different floors to make it easy to wire all these cool things that the buildings were not intended for, and nobody even, having a camera in every hall room and all this and that you never thought about that when the building was built. So you have to get creative and unique when you start doing things, and you want to do it to where it looks nice, because you don't want to come in the building and just see a bunch of wires and things. So that was fun, kind of knowing. We kind of got to build the network from the ground up, and it wasn't myself alone. I always had a great staff, got a great staff here, had a great staff at Philadelphia. But, you got to kind of build it from the ground up and order the equipment, and order the switches, computers and things and cameras. And so it's kind of, I joke here and I call it, I refer to the network, I say it's my baby. But, it was my baby there too for 23 years. And I loved it. And I tried to give everything I had to it to make it the best it possibly could be. And just as competitive as I am with other things, we wanted to have the best, most robust, secure network that we could possibly have in the state, and I think we were able to do that.
And then what was it like stepping into a whole new district, new network, new staff, new superintendent?
I had to learn very quickly that, I went from a 2A school to a 6A school. At Philadelphia, every problem that come up, I could tend to before I went home every day. I didn't have to leave a to-do list. And I tried to do that at Neshoba. It was physically impossible. It didn't matter how many hours you worked, how many days a week you worked. This place is ginormous. And I have a philosophy, I always have, right, wrong, or indifferent. There's different ways to do different things, but I like to do things in-house. I like to do all of our networking in-house. I like to do our cable pulling in-house, if at all possible, unless it's a gigantic job. All of our configs. But basically, I want our people doing and touching our things. And when I got here, it was more of a managed services type thing where other vendors did majority of past the classroom. It was subbed out.
That's right.
So I had to learn very quickly that you can do it all in-house, but you've got to have the right people in the right places and enough of the right people in the right places to make that happen, because it can't be a one-man band. And we were able to work on that and get the right staff in the right seats, and it's been a journey, but we've done a lot of good things. We've been able to replace every bit of our backbone of fiber optic here. Got a brand new single mode armored fiber to every building, 40 gig backbone. We're very proud of that. We have all brand new switches in every closet. Very, very proud of that. We've been able to do a district wide phone system. We've been able to do a district-wide camera system. So we've done a lot of looking back, a district-wide intercom system. Looking back to prepare for this, I didn't realize how much we have done in 5 years. We've grown and come a long way. 100%. Not just me. We've got a great staff, amazing staff. We work with some great partners to make these things happen, but we've done a lot in a short amount of time, and there's several things that we want to do moving forward.
Keeping everything in-house and doing it all yourself, how did you get to want that to be a goal for you? Has it always been that way for you?
I don't know if you can tell. I'm kind of a control freak. That's one reason why I'm terrified of flying, because I can't fly the plane. If I could fly the plane, I wouldn't mind it. And I have flown a few times, but I like to be in control, and if I don't want to have to pick up the phone and call someone and have to depend on them if things are down. Mm-hmm. And not saying that we know everything about everything, but we want to know a little bit about everything so that we know where this cord plugs in and sometimes that gets annoying when we have vendors come in and help us do projects, because we ask a whole lot of questions because we want to be able to manage this monster once you guys are gone. And I don't know. That's just maybe I would have to say probably because I'm a control freak, and I just wanted the control of being able to be the person that gets called when you have issues.
How did you get to know how to do everything? So there are a lot of directors who can't. They can't do it all in-house like that, like you're doing here. I mean, you're kind of at the big leagues. How did you get there?
YouTube University, man. I mean, and with a PhD from Google, and surrounding yourself with great people. Like I said, we have an amazing team. I've my right-hand man. If anybody knows me, knows my right-hand man is Derek Shannon. A lot of folks don't think I can tie my shoes unless Derek's around. And they may be right with that.
Does Kelly think that?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Me and Derek, I hired Derek at Philadelphia. We worked together for about 15 years, and then he was a director for a year at Philadelphia, and then I was able to convince him to come over here with me at Neshoba.
Oh, you poached him.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He's my assistant director, and we just, we talked about it at one of the events here at school not too long ago. We probably spend more time together than we do with our spouses, just because of the number of work hours that we spend together. But, I consider him more of a great friend than anything. But it's just, we've done a lot of good things together, and we were discussing testing. Actually, we're in the middle of state testing right now, and we hit a goal we've tested our largest consecutive group of kids this past week, 1,270 students, all testing at the same time last week. And he's like, and he's kind of my yin to my yang, so to speak. I stress about everything and worry and stress, and he's like, hey, it's good, And he made a statement: when has it ever not worked? So then that was big because. We're not perfect by no means whatsoever, but we have an awesome group of technicians that work with us, and we put in the effort and the work to try to have as much minimal downtime as possible. And, we've had a great testing season.
To the tech director who is not able to do everything in-house but wants to and wants to get there, what would you say to them?
I think you got to be open and vulnerable to. I understand there's no dumb questions when people say that, but you got to be. Some people are scared to ask the question nobody else wants to ask. I'm not. I don't have anything at this point in my life. I don't have anything to prove. Not that I've proven everything. I'm just saying, if I ask a question that maybe others won't ask that they consider a dumb question, I do not care. If I learn something through it, that's fine. So I encourage young IT directors, veteran IT directors, whoever. If you don't know, just ask. There's so much out there. And I guess the more you learn about the matter, you realize that you really don't know anything. I mean, there's always somebody that knows more, that's more prepared. And also there's always somebody that's been through things. And that's what I hope to be able to bring to the state of Mississippi or whoever I'm trying to help. I've been through a lot in 28 years. I didn't get a lot right. Let me tell you what I did wrong so that you can get it right and not make the same mistakes that I did. Just like raising children, you want to, hey, let me tell you what I did that was dumb to help you not take that same path. Just, be okay with being vulnerable. Say you don't know. Don't act like you know everything, because if you do, you really don't. There's no possible way to know all the ins and outs really about any of these subjects. And it's such a broad, from the time the kid steps on the bus in the morning to the time we drop them off at home, eating lunch in the cafe. There's computers and technology intertwined with everything, and it's so much nobody can Nobody can do it all. But we have a great network. We have an email listserv that we have in the state of Mississippi that all the tech directors and a lot of technicians and things use. We talk with one another. I'll be honest, I'm getting ready to buy something. I'm going to vet it out myself with other real world people before I even talk to a vendor. We have a real close knit group in Mississippi. I've got several friends that I consider great friends. I don't get to talk to a lot, but have their number in my phone, and likewise. And day or night, I could text them, "Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?" And we bounce things off of one another, and that's another secret recipe to success is the relationships that I've built with all these other directors.
If you had to choose one of your mistakes that you made, and you were like, "Hey, young tech director, come ask me about this so you don't repeat this," what do you think it would be?
Honestly, I had to say taking myself and this too serious.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. What we do every day matters. What we do every day is very, very important. But I catch myself. I'm wound a little tight most days. But I just want to do a good job. I just want to prove myself and just want to do. And sometimes you can get lost in the fact of it's okay. It's just it's a job. We're at a school district in the state of Mississippi. As long as we get the kids here, we keep them safe, we feed them when we get them home, we've had a successful school day.
That's right.
We want the internet to work. We want the data to be safe. We want all the things, but just take time to breathe. Yeah. It's going to be okay.
I think it's helpful for the tech director who wants to do everything in-house, but it's like, I can't manage all the switches and put a phone system and camera and the ed tech and all the things. And it's helpful to hear that you're saying, I don't know it all.
Right. Absolutely.
And it sounds to me like the ego thing is like the problem. And it's like, it sounds like you're kind of gotten over the ego thing. It's like, there's no question you're not, you're not willing to ask.
I try, I still want to be the best, and that's a tough one because,
Well, you want to be the best, and you found that being the best means asking the dumb questions.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And I will say this, there may be a tech director out there wherever, whatever state, wherever, you've got to have a great relationship with your superintendent, and I can say that I have that. Mr. Josh Perkins is our superintendent here at Neshoba County Schools, and we talk often, and I feel like I have 100% backing on anything that we need to do for the district, and you can't be successful without that. You can try, but you've got to have support from your superintendent. So I don't want to mislead you. If you can be the best tech director in the state, but if you don't have that support, it's time to move on.
Tell me about METLA.
METLA. I have been on the METLA board a few times. I've served as president once with METLA.
What is it?
It is the Mississippi Educator Technology Leadership Association, and I probably butchered that, but it's close enough. It is a quarterly meeting that we have with all of the tech directors in the state. Most come. We have a pretty good representation. That is the meeting that most vendors want to come to because that is the one room where you have all of your decision makers all together, and it's a great organization. We have, like I said, 4 meetings a year. We'll bring speakers in. We always have a great lunch, but it's the talks that we have between the meetings, in the hallways, at lunch, headed to your car. That's probably the most beneficial time that I've ever had in growing as a tech director personally.
So this is a Mississippi thing. There are comparable things in other states, but what percentage of IT directors are in Mississippi, would you say, are part of METLA?
I would love to say around 80%. It may be a little less than that, but I think we have a good representation.
That's great.
And I may be way off there, but and we have 4 meetings a year and different times of the year, different districts, depending on what kind of calendar they have, But as far as the communication, whether you're at the physical meeting or not, the communication with that body of members is, we talk all the time. I would even jump out to say, there's some form of communication on that listserv daily.
What would you say to the 20% that aren't part of it or investing?
It could be a number of reasons why folks are not there.
Sure.
They may not see if you don't see the value in it, that's the one that I really would like to talk to. You may not like anything that's on the agenda, but come hang out. Let's talk. Let me hear about what you're doing that I may need to be doing. That's the biggest thing is I try to steal ideas from folks at lunch or wherever in the hallways when we're talking. What I'm having this problem. What do you do about it? Because we're not inventing much new these days. There's a lot that's out there, and I understand with AI and all the cool. There are things that are coming down the pipe that are new, but for the most part, we're trying to get our kids here. We're trying to provide them internet, trying to keep them safe, and trying to get them home. And when problems arise on any of those common issues, what are you doing about it? And I like to hear what other districts are doing, larger districts, smaller districts, medium-sized districts, and then kind of put my spin on it and integrate it here. And that has worked. It's worked well.
So it sounds like you've really taken on this like humble leadership approach, and I appreciate that. Just from hearing you talk to the new tech director that's coming in, how do you because everybody wants to prove themselves when they're starting out a new
absolutely.
job, but how do you tell them, brother, it's going to be okay? How would you do that to the new tech director that's real gung ho?
You've got to put yourself aside. It's not about you. It's not about us. It's about the students. It's about about the children that are in the building, and that goes whether you're talking about technology, administration, any department that's in a school district. It's not about us.
Yeah.
You take the kids away, we don't have jobs. So I try to don't get it right every day, every time, every decision, but I try to make decisions based on what are best for the students.
Yeah.
You can't do that every time, but 99 out of 100 times you can and you should. And if you take that philosophy, do what's right, and do what's best for the kids. It's as simple as that.
Do you get to have those conversations at METLA?
Yep,
You
absolutely.
do? Okay.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And I like to find people that maybe either disagree or have a different view on things than me.
Yeah.
Because that's where the fun happens.
That's right.
Let's talk, let's debate. I love a good debate. Let's talk about things. Let's help me understand why I'm right or why you're wrong or vice versa. That's
awesome.
where the growth happens.
That's right.
Tell me about MECA.
MECA, Mississippi Educators Computing Association. And Kelly will kill me if I got that wrong, but I believe that's correct. MECA is the largest technology conference in the state of Mississippi. I'm actually on the board of MECA this year. I'm vice president this time for MECA. My wife is the assistant executive director for MECA. Actually, she's co-executive assistant for MECA this year. She just moved into that role this year. So we've been doing MECA since 2000. I mean, forever. When they opened the doors, we were there, and MECA is great. It's huge. A lot of teachers attend. A lot of directors attend. It's an overnight deal. It's 3 days, 2.5 days. So you really get to do a lot of networking at MECA. I don't as much anymore because I'm more on the work side of things.
You're running it.
Well, when I'm not a board member, and actually last year as a board member, I do the AV for the conference. So
Okay.
I do, try to make sure all the audio and video for all the sessions, the keynote, it's not bad, but it is a busy time for me. It's not as easy as just showing up and just hanging out at the conference like I used to. But it's a lot of fun. It's rewarding. I think it's really good. We're looking for some good new enthusiastic directors and technicians that want to step up and help in different roles. So if anybody's out there that wants to help with MECA, we're always looking for a few good people. But it's a great conference, great organization. It's one of the cheapest things to attend from a teacher or from a vendor side. And there's tons of people that go to MECA, and you see everything, all the new technologies, all the old technologies, and you get to put a face with the name of people that you email throughout the year for help and support. And that the relationship part, building those relationships, that's what matters.
What do you look for in a vendor?
Somebody I can relate to, honesty. I don't need flashy. I don't need, I just, here's my problem. I need a solution for this, or I need this product. What do you have? What is the price? Be fair with me to start with. I don't want a whole lot of, well, if they charge you this, I'll charge you that, or what. We want to do it legal. We want to do it right. Just somebody that can be honest with me and tell me the truth, not what I want to hear. That goes a long way. You can't control pandemics. You can't control supply chain. You can't control data centers that are taking all the parts, but you can control, hey, I told you you could have this tomorrow, but we found out we can't even get it for a month. Just be open and honest.
Yeah, good communication goes a long way in a relationship.
Yeah.
My wife would also venture to say the same thing.
Yeah. Being open and honest, that tends to be the best thing.
For sure.
As a vendor, you're the ideal tech director. Just being straightforward in that you've got an idea of everything on the network. And as anybody from the outside coming into a network, man, that is, if you have a great relationship with your superintendent and you know everything you need to know about your network, well, it makes our job way easier, I'll tell you that.
We try to know what's going on. We don't always, but we try to know what's going on.
Sounds like you guys do.
It's fun most days.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like work a lot of days. A lot of times I will think to myself, I'm getting paid to do this.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I want to stay. That's where I want to. That's why I say there's no exit at this point. I don't know when this journey ends or what the next step looks like because I'm having too much fun doing what I'm doing now.
That's awesome.
So
not a lot of people get to say that. Mm-hmm. Truthfully, in any organization, any field, it doesn't have to be K-12.
Yeah.
So that's awesome that you have fallen in love with this role.
Yeah, absolutely. And that comes with the leadership that supports me, and that. Like I say, you've got to have that support. Without that support, you can't be successful and you can't be happy. And every day, it is work some days. It's work a lot of days. But if you enjoy it and you have the support, the work's the easy part.
Yep. And that's true for us. If we didn't have a good relationship, this wouldn't be fun.
Yeah. I can see that.
Traveling to a trade show, wouldn't be fun if there weren't good relationships internally.
Right.
So it's anything. You got to have the support above you and around you to be successful in anything.
Right.
So that's awesome.
And there's a lot of great people. I mean, you can walk the halls here, and I have never seen more hardworking people assembled in a group than I have at this district. You don't have to look far to find somebody working their tail off every day.
Yeah.
If I have to do an update that takes a network down, it doesn't matter if I do it at 4 a.m., 3 a.m., early, late, somebody is working. And they say, hey, I'm in my classroom working. Why is the internet down?
Yeah.
And I love that. I think that's a great thing. I also understand there's a balance that you have to have and all that good stuff. So I'm not saying you should devote all your time at your workplace. Please hear me out. But I love the fact that people do whatever it takes to get the job done.
Yeah.
And we have people working all the time. So I have to be very strategic about when the network goes down and when we can do things. And I like to consider myself a high achiever, and I love being around other high achievers. And there's a lot of them here.
That's awesome.
So.
Yeah, that's exciting.
As much as you're willing to share, have you had any tough moments on the network side?
Oh man, I knew this was coming. Yeah, a couple years ago we had my first, and I think the district's first cyber attack. We were fresh off of a admin retreat where we had gone and done a ropes course and done all the cool things, and so good and sore coming into work the next day, full of ibuprofen, and my phone, we have several different things set up where if things go down, I get notifications. My phone starts dinging, and I immediately think to myself, now who's in the server room unplugging stuff? Because something's up. Everything's going down. Like we're not having a power event, so something's going on. Somebody's shutting all the servers down. Anyway. So I get into work, and there's nobody in the server room, and all the servers are locked. And I immediately call Derek, and we get in there and we start looking at things and rebooting equipment, and we find a hard drive that's bad. And I say, hey, I've got because we have all of our servers running on a data center, and it's virtual and all that good stuff. So we don't have a single point of failure, but we could have a piece go out that would resemble that we have hardware problems. So we spend majority of the night around 11:30 or so at night. I'm thinking, okay, we got a bad hard drive that's caused this RAID to go down. So I send a text out to all the administrators. Hey, I've identified the issue. Don't think we have an attack or anything. I think it's hardware. And then the next day we're coming in and getting ready to fire everything back up, and I find a note on the server. Hey, if you want your stuff, contact us. My heart sank. I took a screenshot of it, sent it to Derek, said, hey, I need to see you, and sent it to the superintendent. I said, we need to talk. And that was probably one of the lowest few months of my life, lowest few months of my professional career for sure. Personally, it was draining. I'll be honest with you. I felt very violated. And I won't give examples because I don't want to say the wrong thing, but you just, they came in our house, they took all of our things, they shut it down, and there was nothing we could do about it.
Yeah.
And there I sat. And we had a month and a half or 2 months before school started. I was like, oh, crap, what do we do?
Yeah.
You know, I felt like I had hit a zone. I mean, we were rocking and roll. We literally just finished a complete switch project. I was like, man, we're in business. You know, it's going to be we're going to have things in such tip-top shape. There's not going to be anything to do around here. And only to realize that, no, now we get to build everything from the ground up. We lost everything. Our HVAC system, it's computer-based. Phone system, computer-based. We had backups. Backups were locked too. You know, I heard of air gap, but I just thought that was a cool thing. People said that, you know, hey, you know, we had backups. We had all the things. Just couldn't use any of it. They were all locked. And we went through the proper channels. I started thinking back to, you know, I did listen to several of the meetings I'd gone to. If you ever get attacked, this is what you should do. So like I said, I reported to, me and Derek were in the same room, so we knew we had been attacked. Reported to the superintendent. We reported it to the school board, business manager. We called our insurance company. And we went through all the things. Had a cyber firm assigned to us, and they come on site, and we worked through some things and had to basically rebuild everything from the ground up. We built it on our old data center. Then it was time to move to a new data center. So we rebuilt everything up, got everything going just to move it all over to a new data center. I think I failed to mention that earlier. Put a brand new data center in as well here, and all new servers, all the things. Found out what EDR and XDR and all the letters and all the protection, because you got to do something. You get attacked, you can't get attacked again.
Right.
You know, we just had one bad set of credentials that got sold on the black market. Had no idea that had access to the things that they had access to, and you know, it's as easy as that. So you do all the things and you think you're good, and it happens. It can happen to anybody. You know, I know there's been several places and several districts in the state, and some of the healthcare organizations have dealt with things. And I want to be a resource for districts that get attacked that have no idea what to do. Not that I have all the answers, by no means. Please understand that. But I do know the right people to talk. I was cutting grass a few weeks ago, and one of the guys from Homeland Security called my phone. That I got to know a lot of people from the day we let everybody know we were attacked. I had the FBI, Homeland Security, all the people in this office had folks show up in vans with guns coming in my office. And I'm like, you know, this is TV. You know, this is not real life. You know, but we built some relationships with those guys, and we still talk off and on. And you know, would I have wanted to go through that? Absolutely not. Can I potentially help someone else from going through that? I hope so. I hope I believe things happen for a reason. I think that I had to endure and go through that, so potentially maybe I can help someone down the road. But man, that's anybody. It can happen to anybody. But if it does, just know you're not alone. Reach out. Folks are there to help. But it was. I went around the world to tell you that was some of the darkest days of my life. You know, and you couldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, we couldn't tell folks, hey, yeah, we're attacked. You know, we're trying to have summer school. Why is the internet not working? Can y'all not get that up? Yeah, we can't. We can, but we can't. You know, and so you just had to. It was a very vulnerable time for me. Mm-hmm. You know, and like I said, I was not in control.
Yep.
And I had a problem with that. Had a lot of long nights. Me and Derek, which we've had a lot of long nights forever. Had a lot of long nights with Mr. Perkins. He was there every step of the way. He got to really know and see me at my vulnerablest.
Yeah.
He was there for me, and I tell you, I wouldn't have made it without his support. Because there was a time. There was a time when I was like, I've done all that I possibly can. White flag. I'm out. You know, I can't do this. And yeah, you can. And we were able to work through it. And I think we're better for it. I did grow a lot. Because like I said, I was planning to hit 25 years and go do something else, you know, or just whatever. But I've been forced to grow and to learn. And, you know, it's been, the hacking part was not fun, but the relationships that I've learned, I got some folks from the FBI and from Homeland Security that I could pick up the phone right now and call, and they would answer.
Yeah.
And hey, how can I help you? And that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and they're available for anybody. It's not just that they did me a very solid, but they'll do you the same way.
Yep.
You know, there are resources out there. And I'll be honest with you, in the beginning, because the state was trying to, hey, we've got these resources. Whatever. I don't have time for those guys. I don't have time. And I said it. I was one of the districts that, we're good. We're solid, man. But it was very humbling.
Yep.
So,
these conferences, kind of going back to that, there's a lot of stuff on cybersecurity this day and age.
There's through the years there, and I didn't mean to cut you off. That wasn't the question, but through the years, there's been different. It's like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
One minute it'll be AI, one minute it'll be cybersecurity, one minute it'll be filtering. That was kind of proves my whole point of there is no one expert on everything because there's so much stuff out there. So, but yeah, it gets talked about. And it's very good. It's very good information. Very good products out there that can help you with that. But I also think the relationships, still go back to the relationships that you can build in the hallways and during breaks with the other districts. Hey, this is happening to me. What do you think I should do? Because there were a couple of districts that I called and I said, hey, this is happening to me. I'm good. I've gone through the proper channels, but I'm trying to rebuild this thing. What suggestions do you have? And I had one guy that was this very dear to me. He sent me a massive email with, hey, these are the things I'm doing on my firewall that you may want to. Can I come help you? Can I do this? Can I do that? So that's awesome. There's some awesome people across the state that will help you.
That seems to be a recurring theme. The more and more we do this, is tech directors are like, yeah, it's great what we do, and the technology is great, but like if you don't have the relationships and people you can lean on,
right?
That's really where the success happens.
Absolutely.
So that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
I'm glad you made it through that fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. And I still haven't learned. I haven't figured out exactly what all I was supposed to learn from having to go through that, and maybe one day I will. But, you do understand that it's a convenience over safety type thing, and you have to find that line where, man, this multi-factor is terrible. Everybody hates it, but it's necessary. We've got to do it, and that's just one example. There's several other things, but and then you have to be the guy that. Somebody has to be that person that, yes, we have to do this. And if you want to fuss, my line's always open. Please call me. Tell me all your frustrations. I know. I get it. I hate that it takes 5 minutes out of your class period to do this, but we've got to keep our data safe,
I think this is a testament of, like, it can happen to anybody. I mean, Canvas, have you heard about this?
Right.
The university education platform has been under fire the last few weeks, I guess.
Right.
It's affected finals for I don't know how many universities.
Yeah.
And like
those kids are so lucky.
But it's a bad day. It's a bad few months for them as well. And just basically the moral of the story is like nobody. We're all. If you're in technology, you're going to be under attack.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you had 1 minute or 2 minutes to tell the young tech director who hadn't been attacked yet, for real, what would you tell him?
You've got to know who to contact when you get attacked. You've got to know, and even if it's just a document that you write down, you've got to contact your team. You've got to contact your superintendent. You've got to contact your business manager, find out what your cyber insurance looks like. If you don't have, you need to know if you have cyber insurance or not. You need to know the phone numbers of those people to call. You need to know how to get in touch with Homeland Security. You need to know how to get in touch with the FBI. You need to know who at the State Department to notify. All that sounds wonderful, and I could rattle that off all day long. But when it happens, it's like you draw a blank. Fortunately, I had a document that we had typed up that if this happens, this is what you do. It was something we homegrew. It was homegrown that we had made or whatever, and a little cheat sheet.
Wow.
And these are the people I need to talk to, and then I actually made a timeline throughout the entire attack. This is what I did today. This is who I contacted at this time, at that, because it got very granular, and and we would meet with all these committees on Zoom, and hey, what did you do on this day? What did you do at this time? What did you do? And like I can barely remember what I had for lunch yesterday. I have no idea what I did. At 3:27 on a Thursday. So make a timeline of everything that goes on, and it's not that none of these are a gotcha thing. It's just to help you. It's to help you when you have to recall all these things. And I think you work on building the relationships with the people locally in your building so that if things like this happen, you can call and say, because I felt very comfortable calling and saying, hey, Mr. Perkins, I think we've been attacked. I need to talk to you. And he immediately rushed over and we talked, and so you've got to have those things. But if you have all of those things done, the things you can do now to be proactive, You should never use, as tech directors and technicians, you should never use your name as your account. Should not have all the keys to the kingdom. It should be some random whatever. Make them work for it a little bit, because I can Google all the school districts in this state or the United States and find out who the leader is, and then find out what their email scheme is. I can do that, and I'm not a hacker, so they can, don't make it easy on them. Change your passwords. Have good passwords. Have random accounts that can access those things that you only use every now and then when you really need to access those things, and just try to harden things up the best you can, and know what accounts you have access to certain things, because that's what got me. I had an account out there that was sitting wide open that had access to some ways to get in our network that I had no idea had that access. It was things that I inherited that I had never gone through and thought to check. I missed it.
Yep.
I take full ownership of that. I just, so you've got to know what accounts are sitting out there, even if you have thousands of accounts like we do.
Yep.
You've just got to know. Watch your firewalls. You'll see the traffic going in, traffic coming out. And that may sound daunting to, it may not to some of the younger guys, because I'm sure they're very smart coming out of college or wherever they're coming out of to take these jobs. But if you don't know how to look at your firewall logs, ask somebody. I didn't. I knew kind of basically how to click around, whatever. But it was one of those, I don't want to be in there messing around because things are working great. I don't want to mess that up. But just ask questions, and don't be afraid to click around and click those buttons, and if you don't know, ask. But you need to be looking at your firewall logs, because you'll be able to tell if something's going on there. Tighten up your filter. There's a lot of things. There's no reason why you should have access to certain websites across different continents. There's things you can shut down. There's a lot of easy, low-hanging fruit that you can do to protect yourself that maybe those guys don't know about. And maybe we need to do a better job of maybe putting together some cheat sheets of, hey, these are some things you should check. These are some things you should do. And on the flip side, need those guys to be receptive of, hey, we know how to do. We can do all kinds of cool things, but maybe we need to read this white list and check these things. So, because it's not a problem till it is, but I tell you, if and when you are attacked, it's a very humbling experience.
Yep.
So I hope I answered your question.
You did. And I think that it's a comforting thing for other tech directors to hear that from an impressive network, Right. I think it's encouraging. I'm glad you shared it. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. If it helps one person, it would be worth it.
If you had to write the IT director's playbook, what's 1, 2, 3 things that would have to be in there?
I go back to the same. Number one, you've got to realize that it's a job and that it's not quite as serious as you think it's going to be. You've got to breathe. Number two, you got to rely on others, build those relationships. You've got to be vulnerable, put yourself out there. And then number three, you got to show up every day, even when it's hard. Every day is. You hope every day is not going to be off. Every day is hard. We need to find out why. But show up even on the hard days, and be available. Be available to do whatever it takes. It doesn't matter if it's moving a table or setting up a server or delivering a toner or picking up a piece of paper off the sidewalk. Just do the little things, because the little things, are really the big things in the end.